like if you want to be like a photographer, like the most important thing is to like go and actually take photos. Like you're not gonna learn if you're just gonna sit in your house and like, oh, I wish I took that photo. I'm Jason Tomlinson. I'm a chef and photographer from Cape Town. I do mostly food photography. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I wanna go straight from the beginning type thing, and I wanted to know I assume you went to chef school and studied that.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting, like the story. Because I finished matric in 2016, and then I went straight into like working as a chef. So I knew someone that like helped me get in, and then I worked for about 6 months as like a bottom chef, coffee chef, and then I really didn't enjoy it anymore. So that was like after a while I stopped enjoying being a chef. And then I had a friend that got me into a fine dining restaurant. And then from there I started like, it really started like, what do you mean? Like I started enjoying it more. And from there I went into Culinary School. It wasn't like a school, it was like a 6-month course, like a on and off thing. So I'd go in for 1 day a week while I was working as a chef. And you can edit this, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna keep most of it in. But
okay, no, it's fine.
It's natural part. I mean, I say to everyone, it's how people talk. You don't talk as smoothly as people think. Like so yeah, it's super chilled vibes. So I'll just keep everything in.
Okay.
But yeah.
So it was I was a chef. So I went to school at SA Chefs Academy in Woodstock. I did 6 months, 1 day a week. So essentially it was like 25 days of going in. We did probably like 20 to 30% of practical work, because I basically went in to study after about a year of working. So I kind of had the knowledge already. So it was kind of easy for me to do the like studies and work and practicals and stuff like that. And then while I was working at the fine dining restaurants, I like kind of fell in love with photography and like taking photos and stuff like that. And then I bought my first camera. Well, after working for a while, I saved up to buy my first camera. So I got that, and then I started taking photos for the restaurants.
What camera was that?
It was a Canon 1300D, just with the kit lens. Pretty basic. It's like the cheapest one I could afford.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got to start there, and people would be surprised the kind of things that you can actually do with those quote unquote cheap cameras and the kit lens.
It was actually kind of cool to see how much I can do with that camera. Like, yeah, because you see all these people with like these expensive cameras, and you think like, wow, if I could just like get my hands on one of those, it'd be so cool.
And I mean, I've seen it's the best way to learn, and I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and I don't remember where I directly am quoting from right now, but people say like the best way to learn is to find the cheapest, like not good camera, because then you really have to learn how to make the best of the photo and the composition and stuff, because the quality isn't the best. So that's the best way to learn, so that when you do get a better camera that shoots good quality, your photos are good as well.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You really don't need a how like a $3,000
No.
camera. Like
And
it's
especially
ridiculous
these
how,
days, especially these
yeah,
days, like you're not putting these photos on a like skyscraper
no,
billboard. Like it's mostly going on Instagram and stuff. So
it's not for like advertising or like big production work. You can't, you're just posting on a story or something.
yeah, and then Instagram takes that quality down anyway. So
Yeah, that's the one thing about Instagram. It's like my pictures come out so crisp on the camera, and then when I post it, the quality just drops
yeah,
tremendously.
yeah,
And also, you get these iPhones now that can do the same thing as your entry level DSLRs, and you can do the same thing with your iPhone basically.
yeah.
Yeah, I did a comparison like a few months ago, and like with my iPhone and with the Canon 80D,
What iPhone do you
and
have?
you can the 11 Pro,
Nice.
and like half the people couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah,
So, and some of the people were like professional photographers, which
yeah.
is, yeah.
That's where we're at now. It's pretty crazy, but that's where we are.
And like your editing and stuff, if you're good at editing, it will just
Makes a huge
be so much
difference.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were saying you bought your first camera and then you took a couple photos for the restaurant, that fine dining restaurant you were working at.
Yeah, I took the photos, didn't really think much of it, and then I posted it on my Instagram, and then like some of the people that worked there saw it, or the photographer and like, creators saw it there, and they're like, "Wow, this is great. Can we like post it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then from that moment on, I was like, people enjoyed what they saw, so maybe I should like take this seriously. And from there, I started taking a lot more photos for the restaurant. Like when the actual photographer wasn't there, I would take probably every day, like just random photos, and I'll post on Instagram, and then that was basically my portfolio for other people to see.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best way to use Instagram these days is, yeah, it's a catalog of your photos, but it's also something you can take, I mean, as a photographer or videographer, and even like a chef, because it is food that you've made after all. So, I mean, it's something you can take to people and say, look at what I've done. Yes, this is my Instagram page, but this is everything I've done. So, I mean, it's very cool.
Yeah, and at that point, I had like 1,800 followers,
Nice.
and
I mean, that's more than I have now. So it's a good place to start.
yeah. And before that, I used to take my photos so bad, like 3-4 years ago, because I'd make the food and then I'd take like a quick snap of the photo, and it looks so shit. But yeah.
Hey, like I said, you got to start somewhere, and that's how you learn. So
Like if you want to be like a photographer, like the most important thing is to like go and actually take photos. Like you're not gonna learn if you're just gonna sit in your house and like, oh, I wish I took that photo.
yeah, and you can watch all the tutorials in the world, but if you're not actually trying to do the thing, then you're just going to keep watching all the tutorials and never actually learn. Because I mean, I don't know about you, but like I also just did it wasn't like a proper degree course, but it was a 1-year course in cinematography and all of that kind of stuff. And it was 100% practical. And that's like the best way for me to learn. We didn't like write exams. We didn't have like that much theory. We just would be shooting and editing and shooting and editing. And that's the best way for me to learn, at least. Yeah, like I
even
can't
like
read.
I don't read at all.
Mm.
It's something I really struggle with. Like even in high school, I didn't really study grade 12.
Yeah,
I,
no.
I didn't even open, I opened maybe one book, but like the rest of the time I like listened in class,
Yeah,
and then I did well. So
yeah.
how I learn is basically just watching other people and like doing the work.
100%. Got to put the work in, and that's how you get better at things. I mean, it's exactly like you say, you can't sit inside. I mean, then you're never going to have photos or build your portfolio and whatever, and just got to go out and try take the photos. And as you're trying, you'll figure out, well, that didn't really work out so well, so next time I should do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna make mistakes, so might as well make it now
Yeah,
while
get them
you
out the way.
still can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And is that what, are you still working at a restaurant now?
No, not at the moment. I stopped probably March of 2020.
Because of COVID and all of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
COVID was a bit of a thing,
Yeah, a little bit of
but
a
it
thing.
kind of, yeah, but it's like I'm like I enjoy like what I'm doing now. So and the hours and stuff when I was working at a restaurant was kind of long, so I didn't have as much time to take photos as I wished I could have.
Yeah. So what is it
But
that you
yeah,
like doing now? Do you have hire from people to take photos for them, or is it all just your own stuff?
on my Instagram, it's mostly my own stuff. But if brands like ask me to do a recipe or like take photos for them, then I'll post that there as well. Um, yeah,
Well, that's cool.
so it's mostly
So you
my
do
own
get
page.
like people reaching out saying, "Can you make this recipe or whatever and take photos?"
Yeah, yeah.
And as far as stuff goes that you've made, what are some of your like cool recipes or things that you've come up with over the years?
Um, I have a nice like chocolate tart that I've like pretty perfected. Um, it's basically like 4 ingredients, but it's so good. Um, it's it's um, it's chocolate, cream, butter, and those tennis biscuits from Baker's Biscuits.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds awesome. And as far as I just remember we were talking about the gear you started with, but I never really got to what is the stuff that you're using now, that ATD?
No, so I'm going to take you through my camera journey because it's nice. So I started with a 1300D with those kit lenses, 18 to 55 and a 70 to 300 mil. And then I moved probably a year after I got that. I sold the other one, and then I got a Sony A600 6000 with can't remember the lens. I think it was a 28 to 70, and then I had that for about uh, 10 months, and then I moved back to Canon ATD, and then I got a 50 mil with that, and then I bought a 24 to 105 mil F4, and then I had and then I had that. I didn't even have that long. I had that like 6 months. I like moving to different cameras. And then the one I'm using now is a Canon RP with the 24 to 105.
I've heard good things for photography and stuff. How did you find the between the Sony and the Canon? Because I've actually also been looking at some Sonys recently for photos, and it's got some good stuff for recording. What did you that switch when you went from the Sony A6600 to the ADD?
So I enjoyed how small it was, but I also didn't enjoy how small it was. It's like it's yeah. So the video quality on the Sony is a bit better, Um, but yeah, I enjoyed I don't know. I like how you could take it everywhere and not feel so like you're taking a massive camera around. No, because with the ATD, I had a battery grip with it. So it was like a massive thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. Like for me right now, the reason I'm looking at the Sony is for the podcast, because I mean, I said at the start, it'll be cut out, but for those who don't know, I kind of in the middle somewhere, I cut the video because the Canon only records for 30 minutes at a time. So I have to just quickly stitch it together. Whereas that Sony doesn't have a recording limit. So it just feels a little more professional, and you don't have to like make this random cut in the middle. You can just keep going. And the low light sensitivity is big for me, that the Sonys have much better. So that's why I've been looking at it recently. But in the same sense, I completely agree in the sense of I like having a camera that I can like really like hold. That Sony is so small. Like at work, I work at a media company and we use exclusively Sonys. So I'm like used to shooting with them now, but they're very small. And like I'm recording with a Canon 90D and it's big. It's like a chunky camera and I like holding the camera.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice like for like stability and stuff. So it gives you a nice, it feels nice when you hold it. And my Canon RP now is in the middle of the Sony that I had and the ATD. So I kind of, yeah. And then I also got like a little extension for it. So that's, I enjoy filming with that. And then, yeah, the reason also I didn't get like a Sony is because I don't need the video to be as long as that, because I take like little clips of the food. So, and then I just edit it together.
Yeah. What do you use for your editing?
My phone.
That's, I mean, you laugh, but I mean, these days it's going more towards that direction than actual like editing software. A lot more people are like going towards using like an iPad or their phones or whatever, because it's just quicker. And if you're not like a production company, then what's the use in paying all these licenses for something that you don't really need?
Yeah, like I'm not posting on YouTube or anything like that. So even if I did post long videos, it's going to be on Instagram and it's going to be like portrait. So yeah, I think the phone, you just need a phone and a camera. I'm using the InShot app. I think that works like best for me. And then I use the Canon app on the phone to transfer the photo.
The like Canon utility or whatever. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that
yeah.
also has, do you use the like phone for actually monitoring and taking photos and stuff or not? Because I know you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know sometimes that's
nice.
useful for like if you can't stand right at the photo, like if it's across at the camera, like if it's across the table or something, then it's nice to not have to reach over to take the photo if you're in it or whatever.
So if I'm pouring like milk into a jar or something, then I'll use the app to be a bit closer to the food and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Nice, yeah. And then I wanted to get into just now when we were talking about chef school and stuff. But did you, like over the years, did you just kind of self-teach on the photography side and all of that, or did you somewhere along the line do a little course, or is it all like YouTube tutorials and things like that?
Most of it is YouTube and stuff. But 6 months ago, I did a photography course, and yeah, so that kind of helped with the what you call it, like how to take photos of food and the what you call it, the freaking composition. That's the word.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
So
and the styling, the food styling and stuff, is that just all through experience or?
yeah, so the styling I kind of learned while I was a chef and stuff.
Nice, because that's like one of the most difficult parts if I think of like me or anyone else trying to do food photography. Like I can easily get someone to cook for me or make something cool, but it's the like making it look good that's the difficult part.
Yeah, like most people think like you're just throwing things on a plate, but it takes a lot of like effort to make it look pretty.
Yeah, it's really difficult, and you really got to know, like, well, not know, but I guess like I said, it comes with experience, like the things around it that'll make it look good, or how exactly to puff the cream or whatever that'll like look nice and not just flop like most things. And most of the things that I've made over the years, it still tastes really good, but it wouldn't look good in a photo. Like it looks good to the eye, but it would look pretty average in a photo.
Yeah, that's why I like styling a lot more than the baking part, because I can make it look how I want it for the photo. And sometimes I don't even like I'd stage it so that I don't have to use as much ingredients. So then I'd save money as well like that.
Yeah. And I assume, do you have friends or family or really hectic workout routine that keeps up with all the cooking and stuff? Because I assume that happens quite a lot.
Yeah, I basically like my family mostly eats like all the stuff I make, so I have to eat it as well. So I eat like one or two pieces and then I'm done. But during lockdown, I had more than I should have.
I think everyone had more than they should have during lockdown.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna gym like plan now, so I have to get that going.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I have a problem because I have a hectic sweet tooth. So if I started getting into all those little desserts and pastries and things, it would start to become a problem because I would definitely just be eating it all myself.
Yeah, if you work in the restaurant, then
I think you're freezing again, man.
no, I think
Oh, I can hear you. Okay, I think it's caught up. You just started saying if you work at a restaurant.
if you work at a restaurant, you're gonna at some point get fat because you're tasting everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair to say if you look at any chef, I mean, not saying they're all fat, but they all have some level of like not being super fit because, I mean, as you're
Yeah.
cooking, as you're doing things, I mean, you can't avoid it. You can't cook food without trying it in between. Do you have like a couple of tips, or if you had to think of people like just starting out in food photography when you were starting out, thinking back to then, like just some tips or like ideas of things that you learned along the way that like actually made a difference to your photos or the styling or anything like that? Food photography specifically.
Food photography, I'd say you can start shooting on like an iPhone to start out. But if you have like the cash for it, then you can just get an entry level camera. I'd say get a 50mm 1.8. It gives you nice depth of field to your photos because that always looks good, you know. And then edit stuff on your phone. Just get a regular app. Make sure your lighting is good. Lighting is like the most important, pretty much. And then just practice as much as you can.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have like a set that you use that you've got like stuff set up for taking photos and stuff for like backgrounds or like tables and stuff, or just wherever?
I take my photos outside, like on our pool table, and I have two backboards that I use. You only really need two because it gives you like a nice consistency on Instagram. And then I use natural light, so I shoot around 3 in the afternoon to 5. Like that's a nice time for me, or in the mornings, but mostly in the evenings. What was the other question?
That it was just that. And then I wanted to know, like, is this kind of like where you like, if you had to think like dreaming big or whatever, would you like to like grow on Instagram and have that kind of like be your thing, taking food photos, making your own recipes or whatever? Or do you think you'll get back to the kitchen?
I don't think I'll get back to the kitchen. I enjoy like taking photos more, but I still enjoy baking and cooking and stuff. But baking is more for me. It's more like precise and technical, but yeah, I actually don't follow the recipes too much. But if I'm making like a recipe for a brand or something, then I'll be exact with my measurements and stuff.
Yeah. Are you willing to talk a little bit about that side of things, like the financial, like when brands approach you and whatever, like what does that kind of look like? Do you approach people ever, or is it all like to you? And then like what does that like look like?
So when I was starting out, I used to like approach, email, DM like probably like 100 different brands a month, and then I'd get maybe 5 responses, and then maybe like 2 of them would say yes to like a deal partnership thing. And then I had a few brands reach out to me again, and it's always nice when brands reach out because then you know you're doing like a great job with your photos. And then also the one thing I'd say is working for free is great in the beginning, but eventually it's you shouldn't be working for free because it takes away from other creators that like are working hard in the industry.
Yeah, and I think it's a big thing. Like, yes, at the start you're trying to like get your name out there, get the experience, build your portfolio and whatever. But I think once you have like established a bit of a following or skill or whatever, it can also take away from your future brands, because if you keep doing stuff for free, then other brands that approach you are going to be like, well, you did these 3 things for free, why do I have to pay you?
Yeah, and then you in like a little situation where you like trying to ask for money, but you don't want to be like rude or anything.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I just don't think it works. Like there's a time and place, I guess, and sometimes it's good to do it for making contacts and whatever, but I think once you get going, it's definitely a good idea to just kind of put your foot down, and maybe you'll lose a couple people, but you'll also gain the other people. So
what other
just about like the brand thing, like how does it like properly like start to finish, how does it work? Like when they approach you, do they like say, here's this recipe, we want you to cook it? Like what is the whole process? Do they like review the photos afterwards or kind of have an idea? And then is it like a straight like we're paying you to make this recipe, or is it that like sponsored content on Instagram type thing?
So for certain brands, I'd do a one-time deal. They'd ask me to do a recipe or like and a photo or a video or something. Sometimes they'd ask me to do 3 photos and recipes, and for like a fixed amount. And then it's kind of they just ask you. Sometimes they ask you your rates, and fees and stuff. And then other times they'll give you an amount and then you'll accept or ask for more or less. And then, yeah, and then when I'm done with the photos, I'll send it to them first to see if they like it or not. But they usually like it, so I haven't gotten a complaint or anything yet.
That's good. That means you're doing something right. And is that usually like those people that reach out? Is it usually like these like can't think of an example now, but like websites that run a bunch of recipes, or is it like specific like brands of cooking stuff?
It's brands that you see in the shops.
Okay.
I've had one company reach out that does that, like, what can I say? Like they market for a company or a brand, but I wasn't too sure on the website that contacted me, so I didn't take the deal.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to say no.
Yeah, 100%. If you had to think like really like dreaming big, what is like a type of brand or specifically brand that you think would be like really cool to work with something on?
Probably like Nespresso or Lindt. I've gotten a few packages from Lindt already, but like no sponsorship with you or anything. Hopefully if they see this, then we'll get it.
Yeah. I'll just put a cheeky little tag, Lunt SA. Hopefully that's the little handshake you needed to get a food photography deal.
Yeah. But also like in future, I'd like to do photography for restaurants or video or something. Because I worked in the restaurant, so I'll know what to look out for and what to photograph.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool. I love watching the like restaurant promo videos, like putting dishes together, and those kind of snappy videos are very cool. So I think that'd definitely be cool.
Yeah, I was watching like 2 days ago a day in the life of a Michelin star chef, and it was like really interesting to see how they work. And it was pretty similar to how I worked in the fine dining restaurant.
And I mean, something you could also look at that I know a couple of people have done already, but would be really awesome is the people that go out on yachts and those chefs and stuff, also photographers and videographers and things like that. Don't know if you have any interest in that department, but
No, yeah, definitely. I was actually looking into doing being a chef on a yacht, like in the second year.
nice.
But yeah, I actually wanted to go last year.
Yeah.
But COVID.
Yeah. A lot kind of came to a standstill last year, but push through. Sometimes, I mean, you might even say, I mean, sounds bad to say, but sometimes certain things are for the best, and you've now like kicked off your Instagram and you've started doing all of your own things, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think if there's nothing else you can think of off the top of your head, maybe something you wanted to mention, then we can wrap it up.
Nah, I don't know.
I've done that so far at the end of every episode, just put the guest on the spot and then see if they come up with anything, usually just a silence.
Yeah, no. What else can I say? Just have fun while you can make mistakes. If you like from 20 to 30, you can make as much mistakes as you want. And then when you get to 30, you can just start building and you'll still probably make it. So yeah, I just say make as much mistakes, practice as much as you can. Don't be scared to fail.
That's an awesome way to end it. And I mean, some of the most successful people, again, I'm quoting from people that I don't remember, which is bad, but some of the most successful like business entrepreneurs and stuff, like 45 years old, 50 years old. So I mean, plenty of time for anyone to start something. So
Yeah. Never too late to start.
Exactly. So anyways, man, I'll say thanks so much for coming on and chatting for a little while. It was a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of little nuggets in there that people starting up can take and learn from.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I don't do this often, but it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it a lot.
Well, thanks for coming on then, seeing as you don't do it often. Maybe we can get you on again later, get you more in the video space. But yeah, I'm just gonna look up over here and say thanks to everyone that's listening or watching. Subscribe and rate on the audio platforms, and I'll see you next week.